They are trying to win a championship now. They are trying to win it in this window. And they have, I think, certainly 3 of the great offensive weapons in the NBA right now together.
I mean, saying it respectfully, I don't know how teams are going to guard us.
The Suns' 3 highest paid players are all point guards.
Suns trio should be nicknamed Guardians of the Galaxy. They're all guards.
Oh, wow, we have a crowd.
They're all guards. They play for the Suns, which I'm told is a part of our galaxy.
Right.
With the 13th pick in the 2015 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Devin Booker from the University of Kentucky.
This has been the dream that I wanted my whole life, and I had the opportunity to, furlong this dream. So, I took the opportunity into the draft and ended up in Phoenix. Didn't know anything about Phoenix before I got here. Now I realize it's really hot.
We can't fire the whole team, so we just fired the coach, Jeff Hornacek. His chapter in the desert is over. Their recent struggles that you see here are solid reasons behind the change being made.
Lucky enough to be in this situation. Fortunately, a couple of our players went down, but they opened up a chance for me to play. Like I said, every time I step the court, I look back at the time, beginning of the year when I wasn't playing, I'm mad I wasn't getting in the game. Now I get the opportunity to play 30-plus minutes a night, so every time I go out there, I try to give it all on the court.
With the 4th pick in the 2016 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Dragan Bender from Croatia.
I'm here to be a winner and to turn around the franchise and turn us back into where it used to be, and that's winning a lot of games. So, that's my main focus right now. Like I said, obviously the individual accomplishments, that's good for me.
Devin Booker was one for the record books when he dropped in 70. That's the big 7-0 against the Boston Celtics. The 20-year-old Booker became the youngest player in NBA history to score at least 60 in a game.
The 4th pick in the 2017 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Josh Jackson from the University of Kansas.
Young star Devin Booker on his island. He's got 1 more year on his deal. If you're a player, obviously Phoenix has not handled itself in a way that would make it a free agent destination. If you're a young player like Devin Booker who's grown up in the organization.
Now it has been a rocky few days for the Phoenix Suns. They lost their first 3 games by a total of 92 points, including the worst opening night loss in NBA history. And yesterday the team parted ways with head coach Earl Watson.
Bledsoe actually met with Sarver and asked for a trade this preseason. Then yesterday, he sent out the tweet that sent the NBA into convulsions. Quote, "I don't want to be here."
I look at this kid as being one of the upcoming premier superstars of our league. They have failed to put talent around him. They don't get great draft picks and put talent around him. They're going to lose out on such an upcoming great player.
The Suns have a coach, and it's Igor Kokoskov. Repeat after me. Kokoskov. Got it? Now, Igor may not have appeared to be excited about getting the job, but trust me, he's the right guy for the job, or maybe not.
First #1 overall pick in franchise history.
Huge for Phoenix. And now for them, they hired Igor Kokoskov, who is Luka Doncic's Slovenian national coach. He'll have great intel on him.
With the first pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select DeAndre Ayton from Nassau, Bahamas, and the University of Arizona.
With that kind of a player, you come in right at the beginning, you give him the whole max, you say, here you go, and he signs it, and they try to build. But, they had DeAndre Ayton in this draft and Josh Jackson at the top of last year's draft. They're starting to build a nucleus in Phoenix.
If this were a different team, maybe you can start fresh right before the year. You made all these decisions throughout the summer to build this team, and now you're letting the guy who supposedly built this team walk away, and he's gone.
This is the combination with him now and DeAndre Ayton. So are they going to be the next Shaq and Kobe or the next Shaq and Penny? Is this the time that Phoenix is going to rise from the ashes, if you will, with Ayton and Bridges and Josh Jackson?
There is something that is not right from an organizational perspective. They keep getting draft picks. They keep doing little to nothing with them. The one consistent thing that has transpired with these boys for the last 4 or 5 years is losing. Regression.
To give him reason to believe he could have some staying power in that Phoenix job, which has not been the case. He'll be the 5th coach in 5 years there. He's dealing with a very challenging owner in Robert Sarver.
I'm focusing on the draft pick, Cam Johnson, because this is James Jones. Real big first move. Cameron Johnson is known basically as a guy who can shoot and shoot great and not do everything else that great.
Devin Booker is this high volume, high usage scoring guard who really doesn't do anything else. And so by many, we look at him and go, he's overrated. He's putting up flashy numbers, but this year that is not Devin Booker. He's much more efficient.
I want to apologize to my family, the entire Suns organization, my teammates, partners, our fans, and the Phoenix community. This was an unintentional mistake, and unfortunately, I put something in my body that I was completely unaware of.
He's a winner, someone you want to see with the ball in his hands at the end of the game. So I get how everyone wants him on his team. He is now finding his own potential, and so is the rest of his squad. It starts with Monty Williams, that scrappy defense.
And now you've got a team in the Western Conference with Chris Paul that can compete to get into the playoffs, kind of rebooting his career, reminding everybody of how he can impact winning, and now they'll ask him to do the same in Phoenix.
With the 10th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Jalen Smith from the University of Maryland.
It's been great for me, obviously, to come up here with a new group because these guys are just full of energy, wanting to work, happy to be back working. Getting prepared for this season. So it's been great for me to be with the guys and going forward.
Phoenix will be in the postseason. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But it's not like they're all of a sudden a championship contender. I don't view them that way, and that's why I don't view them as being a threat to the top teams, meaning the top 2 or 3 teams.
The last person to win an MVP with 20 points or less was Steve Nash at Phoenix, steering a team around to the #1 spot in the West. I think if Chris Paul does that, it's worth saying his name when you start talking about the MVP for this season.
For the first time since 2010, the Phoenix Suns are headed to the NBA playoffs. 10 straight seasons without heading to the postseason is over.
We were talking about the playoffs. Chris yelled out in the locker room. He was like, 16 teams make the playoffs. That ain't what we're going for. And hearing his energy and his passion behind that statement, I was like, oh yeah, we're on the same page.
Anthony Davis had to leave the game early due to his recurring injury as the Suns held off a few late rallies to take it. Suns win the series in 6 and will advance to the Western Conference semifinals, taking on the Denver Nuggets.
You know, a lot of people have been saying, you know, I haven't played any meaningful basketball and, you know, I'm not ready for that. You know, this is my time to prove it. So, you know, we're having fun with it. The whole team's having fun with it. Having great leaders like CP, Jay Crowder, Coach Monty around here helps out a lot.
This crew right here, since day one, they welcomed me with open arms. 16 years, surgeries, hard work, losses, bad losses, but we're gonna enjoy tonight. We're gonna enjoy it.
89% of the time, when you lose the first 2 games, you're gonna lose the series. So that's gonna happen in Milwaukee. So Chris Paul gonna get his ring this year. I still anticipate Suns in 6.
We grew all season long, especially starting out the way we did. Nobody probably expected us to be where we are except for us. Excuse me. It is what it is. You know, like I said, all season long with our team, ain't no moral victories.
He will be 40 years old in the final year of that contract. So give Chris Paul credit. He certainly had a great run in Phoenix. He's the leader of that locker room. He enjoyed that young core. It probably doesn't hurt that he returned, that he made even more money than most of us thought.
Phoenix Suns DeAndre Ayton negotiations on max rookie extension have stalled. The Phoenix Suns' reluctance to offer a max rookie contract extension to DeAndre Ayton has stalled discussions on a deal.
It's just tough. The Phoenix Suns are one of those really talented teams. Just that experience of being there. When you're going against the Milwaukee Bucks in the finals, that gets your confidence going. So I think that they'll be a 3 or 4 seed, but it's going to be tough.
It is now 18, the team record. Suns knock off the pesky Pistons. They are now 19-3, and that ties the 04-05 Suns for best start in team history.
I would say the Phoenix Suns have been the best team in basketball from day one to now. Right now, they are my title favorites. I believe they have less to deal with in their conference. I would not be shocked if it was Chris Paul holding up the Larry O'Brien trophy.
Devin Booker deserves more love. He should be in the larger conversation of MVP because he is the best player on the most dominant team in the NBA right now. He doesn't have the statistical dominance. I don't think he has the overall importance to his team.
Alvarado, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. Just what an outstanding series. And they were pushed. The #1 overall seeded Phoenix Suns, they were pushed and driven in this first round matchup.
Chris Paul is a good-looking brother. Somebody needs to say it, because this brother is in 37 years of age today, okay? He is the point guard. Honestly, the best point guard in basketball. We're going to be seeing this photo for a long time. The Phoenix Suns are going to be seeing this for a long time. This shot will hang on permanent display in the Museum of Ass Kickings.
Came into the NBA, his team struggled to win, and now to see how he's aspired to this next level, helped lead his team to the NBA Finals last year. Obviously, they got knocked out this year. He's young, he turns 26.
The Phoenix Suns didn't waste any time at all, matching the Pacers' 4-year, $133 million max offer sheet for DeAndre Ayton. The Suns had 48 hours to match the largest offer sheet in league history.
Repeated the N-word on at least 5 occasions, made inappropriate comments about physical appearance of female employees, physical conduct towards male employees. They went on to elaborate, yelling, cursing at some of these individuals.
This has been ongoing for a number of months. It just became public now because Jay Crowder didn't want to report to camp. He had requested a trade, and they had been trying to find a trade for him for months. It would have been easier for them to find a trade for him if he didn't make this public.
An owner who's currently selling the team because of all the isms. Big man who is the #1 pick, who you couldn't even offer him a contract until he was offered by another team. Another player who's holding out. You've told him just to stay away from the team, which is fucking weird.
Hopefully that this situation can be resolved and get healthy and make a final push, because this team does have all of the ability and all of the talent to win a championship. But I don't know if it's internal, because you can't really tell what's going on internal if everything internally is injured.
Ishbia and current owner Robert Sarver previously reached a deal for Ishbia to buy a majority stake in both the Suns and the Mercury for $4 billion. The age of 42, that makes him the youngest owner in the NBA.
A mammoth trade from the NBA before the deadline. It's Kevin Durant heading out of Brooklyn. Durant dealt to the Phoenix Suns just days after the Nets dealt Kyrie Irving.
You have to get it done this year. The pressure is on Kevin Durant. He left Golden State, went to Brooklyn. That was a failure. Now you're in Phoenix in a great situation. You have zero excuses not to bring a championship to Phoenix.
The Phoenix Suns have taken out the LA Clippers in 5 games, winning game 5, 136-130. It looked like Phoenix was going to run away with this thing on the back of Devin Booker's 47 points.
He wants to try to do everything he can, but these are difficult injuries. You look at this depth of this Suns team, how much they gave up in the Kevin Durant trade. They pay for that even more when they lose Chris Paul.
The Denver Nuggets are moving on to the conference finals for the second time in 4 years. What a performance by Michael Malone's team tonight, led by the 2-time MVP, Nikola Jokic.
2 years after the Phoenix Suns reached the NBA Finals, and 1 year after he was almost the unanimous choice for NBA Coach of the Year, Monty Williams is out in the desert.
Washington Wizards trading Bradley Beal to the Phoenix Suns for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and draft compensation. Part of the deal, Beal's agreed to waive his no-trade clause. He spent the first 11 years of his career in Washington.
Devin Booker and GM James Jones, the only 2 left standing from that NBA Finals run in 2021. This was the last question this offseason for the Suns, the future of DeAndre Ayton in the Valley. He is now gone.
They are trying to win a championship now. They are trying to win it in this window. And they have, I think, certainly 3 of the great offensive weapons in the NBA right now together.
I mean, saying it respectfully, I don't know how teams are going to guard us.
And I think they will be a very dangerous team. But here's the thing about Phoenix. They got to win it all. There's a lot of pressure on the Suns they fired the head coach. Yep. They let Paul walk. They make the big trade for Beal. They bring Durant in last year. How about the Suns go out there and win a championship one of these days?
Well, not good enough to win the game. We're going to stay positive. First game with those 3 guys out there together. A lot of figuring it out. Figuring out when to be aggressive, when not to be aggressive. Dealing with minutes restriction. We'll stay positive with it, but enough during that stretch.
The Suns have decided they're going to take at least 3 weeks to allow Bradley Beal to rehabilitate this lower back strain, but it's certainly a concern for this team. They'll reevaluate it in 3 weeks.
Newly acquired Royce O'Neal getting shots up at practice today. O'Neal has been with the Suns only for just a matter of days now, playing in just 1 game but his impact in communication is immediate.
When it comes to the Phoenix Suns, they're the worst team in the fourth quarter in the NBA. They're the worst team in the NBA. I'm not talking about Kevin Durant. They've blown a league 10 times this season in the fourth quarter. Why are the Suns looking so bad?
Minnesota on to the second round as they knock off the Phoenix Suns 122-116. The Suns season ends with a first-round sweep.
Suns have fired Frank Vogel after just one season. He led the Suns to the 6th seed in the West before being swept in the first round by the Timberwolves. Suns had the 3rd highest payroll in the league this year. Didn't translate into postseason success.
With this acquisition and the idea that Tyus Jones will step into that starting spot, you're looking at potentially 48 minutes of the ball in someone's hands who is not the big three.
Come in more competitive. We have to be on it. You know, it's a tough league. It's a tough conference. We understand what we're going against, and we feel like we have the talent. We feel like we have the coaching staff. We feel like we have all the pieces to get to where we're trying to go.
After getting embarrassed last postseason by the Minnesota Timberwolves, firing Frank Vogel, this team has bounced back the start of the season in great fashion, led by Kevin Durant, who has been showing great leadership.
It's never easy. This league, we have guys that have won at a high level, that have high expectations, high standards. The leadership and the guys, stay together, keep the fight. We got to find ways to get better. So these are not easy times.
Suns making some major lineup changes before Monday's game. Mike Budenholzer benching Bradley Beal and Jusuf Nurkic. Both players, as we know, struggling this season, numbers way down. The talk around the NBA is a deal to send Beal to Miami for superstar Jimmy Butler.
There are teams certainly calling on Kevin Durant today, as they have been the last couple days since this has become a thing because of the Warriors' aggressive pursuit of Durant. But right now, the Suns' feeling is see how this team looks.
Kevin Durant still with the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns are trading Jusuf Nurkic and a 2026 first-round pick to the Charlotte Hornets for Cody Martin, a handful of other players here, second-round pick as well.
KD's going to roll his ankle in that embarrassing loss to the Rockets. He hobbled to the bench. Just about how much his team has kind of failed this year and all the talk of the offseason. Was that the last time we saw Kevin Durant in a Suns jersey?
They have to move on from Kevin Durant and Devin Booker if they're going to salvage the bad decision that they have made. They have to blow the whole entire thing up. This has been one of the market disasters that we have seen from a team of this level of talent.
The Phoenix Suns were 10 games under 500 and have fired 2 championship coaches in 2 years. Frank Vogel won a championship. Mike Budenholzer won a championship. Were fired after 1 year in back-to-back seasons.
The Suns, who had a young core, who blew up that young core, who gave up their draft picks for veterans and a team that is not working. You have to move from KD and Devin Booker if you hope to have any sort of chance over the next 5 years for contention.